Previously on William Weyser's Childhood Fears, William did his top 13 favorite made-up Booba DVDs. Today, he is doing 7 things wrong with the VHS that he feared going into and what he feared was about to happen. What VHS is it? Let's find out. And now, here is the man who's going to talk about his childhood fears, William Weyser. Hi everyone, William Weyser is here, and welcome to William Weyser's Childhood Fears. Last month and a half and this month have been rough on me. So I thought, why not talk about this VHS? There are some Dragon Tales videos and DVDs that do cover the subject of fears, and the characters overcome their fears. The very first VHS to try this is Big Brave Adventures. I also have both a VHS and a DVD of the same name that cover that subject. Whatever I'm Afraid, the VHS, and the DVD. The very last one that talks about fears is Let's Be Brave. There is a Reader's Digest VHS called Dragons Can Be Brave, where the dragons do become brave and overcome their fears, but I don't have that one. And then there's this. In 2009, I checked this VHS out of the library once, along with Let's Work Together and Let's Be Friends. On June 12, 2015, I checked this VHS out of Half Price Books, along with Blue's Clues Cafe Blue, and while a couple of people don't really care for the episodes that are on here, but I don't care what they think, it's my opinion on it. I don't care for the trailers on here, the opening trailers, but that's the way that VHS was made. Back in 2009 and 2015, I watched this VHS, and yeah, I think Jeremy Johns summed it up best.
I feared going into it. I was angry when I was watching it. I hated myself after watching it because I undeniably suffered.
Yeah. Do you know that phrase said by Yoda? Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hatred. Hatred leads to suffering. Or fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering. That's what sitting through this was. I feared going into this VHS. I was angry with scenes in that bothered me. I hated this VHS when I didn't get the ending that I wanted because I undeniably suffered. And trust me, I've had plenty more experience like that. I also had that experience when I watched the US version of Teletubbies What's That. It just broke me by the end, and the New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh Volume 6 also that ends well because of this. Yeah, that creeped me out when I first saw it. I feared going into that one, and that was pretty much what I expected it to be. Now, way back when I did my top 13 favorite... way back when I did my top 13 Not My Cup of Tea videos, or my least favorites, I put this at number 11 on there. And I thought of 7 reasons as to why I fear going into this VHS, and those fears came true. What were those fears? Let's find out. These are 7 things wrong with Dragon Tales There's Nothing to Fear. Number 1. Zack and Wheezy are not in frog prints. This is something that I really want to talk about. If you look at the front of the There's Nothing to Fear VHS, you can see Zack and Wheezy saying hi to Hoppy, Max's frog friend. But when you actually watch the episode, Zack and Wheezy aren't there. This is not the first time this has happened. With the You Can Do It VHS, Zack and Wheezy watch Ord riding his bike, but when you actually watch the episode, they aren't there. Get your characters in the episodes as you draw or paint them to be on here, people. Oh, and also, Dragon Tales experience new things. Emmy is swimming with the cast, but when you watch Something's Missing, Emmy is in the episode only in the beginning, and then she leaves for camp. I might do Things Wrong with this DVD very soon. However, it's not just Dragon Tales that does this. There's Winnie the Pooh, Pooh Wishes. Even though Eeyore is in this VHS, he's not in the Wishing. Even though Eeyore is in this VHS, he's not in the Wishing Bear. He's only in Goodbye, Mr. Pooh. And in The Great Honey Pot Robbery, you can see Eeyore with the cast here in Monkey See, Monkey Do Better. But when you watch the episode, he's not there. His only appearance on this VHS is in Stripes, my favorite episode on here, and the only familiar one on here because of a much better VHS in Tiggerific Tales. And the last example I can give is the building of the Transcontinental Railroad. Lucy is here, along with Charlie Brown, Linus, Snoopy, and Spike. But when you watch the scene with the Transcontinental Railroad happening, Lucy isn't there. And when you do see her, she's watching Charlie Brown give his speech about what happened with the Transcontinental Railroad. That you'll hear like 80 to 90% of that episode. And going back to one of the episodes on You Can Do It, A Liking to Biking, I remember watching that episode on TV as a kid, but other than seeing Ord ride his bike with a ladybug helmet and trying his best to ride the bike, I didn't really remember that much else about it. The only thing I do remember about watching A Liking to Biking on TV is, well, this.
Let's go find Cassie and Ord. Horatio!
Yeah, that's pretty much it for all I remember watching it on TV as a kid. So please make sure that you have all the characters that you want to be there, really there, before you start making a VHS or DVD copy of it. Number 2. Tales You Lose is off to a flying start. Remember this from 8 Things Wrong with Dragon Tales Don't Give Up?
Boy, we're off to a flying start on this one.
Yeah, this was the same one that I did back when I did 8 Things Wrong with Dragon Tales Don't Give Up last year. The flying start in Tales You Lose is Max pretends to be Ord as you see him standing on a chair, pretending to fly with a pillow behind his shirt and in front of his stomach. Then Emmy comes in with her soccer ball, not at all happy. Max wants his Ord to pretend to fly with Emmy, but she doesn't want to because she lost a soccer game. And yeah, boy, we're off to a flying start on this one. The flying start, for those who may remember Pigment of Your Imagination in Let's Work Together, which I'm not going to talk about much here, is Max flying his plane, destroying Emmy's block tower, and finding out that he broke his own toy plane because he did that. Not Max's day. And on Look on the Bright Side, the flying start here, although it's not really much of a bad start, is Max pretends to make a shake at his pretend store or restaurant or something, and he asks Emmy if he wants a vanilla or a chocolate one. He gives her a scoop. Emmy tries it, and she gets strawberry, which is not one of the options, instead of chocolate. She never gets her chocolate shake at the end, but she does get treated by one at the end. And so does Max, who comes along for the ride, and the episode ends. Now, I know I can't control the starts that each of these videos has, and DVDs too, but I want some starts to be off like a really great start, and not a bad start like this, with one of the few episodes that I don't really care for.